Okay, we've got the basics underway. We've got a pretty good idea of how to win work, and we've probably got some some work booked up in the pipeline, probably the next couple of weeks worth of work, depending on your company, depending on whether you're working for builders, whether you're working with homeowners, or anybody in between, commercial clients. We have a certain amount of normal pipeline booked in. Whether that's 2 weeks, whether that's 4 weeks, even further out than that, that's fantastic, particularly with the builders. But we need to put some data in place or start tracking some data so that we can understand not only what happens at the end of the month, but we can also predict what is going to happen for next month based on what the numbers say. And what we're going to be looking at today is the data of our pipeline. So everything from revenue, from winning the job backwards, and we're going to draw out or put together some a scenario or some options for you so that you know each phase of the process, each stage of the pipeline, you'll be able to then diagnose, do I need to do more marketing effort? Do I need to work on a better sales system? Or do I need just more volume across the whole lot? So let's play out a little example before we jump in. Let's say you think that you win you win the majority of the quotes you send, and your marketing agency, or if you're running your own ads, or however our advertising is done, you may be under the assumption that doubling ad spend would then double our revenue. And if we were to do so, and we weren't to measure any details on the way through or any data points, we may find that we could double revenue, but because there may be an issue with our sales process, that we could burn a lot of money on ads and not make much more revenue, if any. So we want to play this game. And now that you've got a lot of the basics underway, we need to start to acknowledge the fact that you are gearing up to be an effective managing director. And a part of that is to understand a lot of the details, a lot of the numbers that happen along the way through. So your role is now shifting. You're going from being the jack of all trades, being the go everything, do everything guy, into somebody who needs to understand a lot of these data points, a lot of the metrics that are hidden within the company that we can extract out. So in order for us to do this, we need to identify what is the true purpose of our sales or our marketing and sales functions. So we know that within pipeline, we have our marketing and our sales. Marketing is kind of the leading measure, and sales is close to the lagging measure because once we do have those jobs won, that becomes a lag, whereas we want to measure as well what's coming up on the front end, so that we can predict, so that we can confidently say that if our target for next month is 200K, that we have enough in the pipeline to close out our normal close rate in order to win that work. So this is one of those activities that is probably best drawn out. And let's have a little bit of a play about what is the core purpose of this. And I would have thought that the final piece, the final column that we want to focus on is quotes 1. Now, leading back from quotes 1, we're going to have quotes sent. Prior to quotes sent, whether we're doing site visits or whether we are doing proposals or whether we are doing indicative costings, we will have a leading measure that sits before quotes sent. So whichever this is, I'm going to call it site visits or site walks. And then prior to that, we're going to have something along the lines of number of leads or number of inquiries. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to call it number of leads. But you can see here that if we were to draw out this as a pipeline, we may be able to see that on week 1, on week 2, on week 3, and on week 4, that we may have 10 leads come through. We did 8 site visits because 2 of the leads were a dud. we were able to get out 8 quotes sent, and then we had 4 quotes won. So what we'd be able to extract out of here is that we turn 1 in 5 of our leads is suitable for a site visit, and then we win half of the quotes we sent. So if we were to look at this as an example, we would be looking at the process and saying, if I needed to achieve more revenue in order to hit my sales target, what would be the easiest thing to do? What would be the first or highest priority activity to do? And that is actually going to be sitting within here. Is this number of quotes won versus our number of quotes sent? Because if we're only winning half of the quotes we send, we could say to ourselves, well, if we were to focus in on that process, what happens between quote getting sent and quote getting won? Are we able to increase that by 25%? Are we able to increase that by more? Now, we don't have to spend any more money on ads. And if we're not getting our quotes from ads, if we're getting them from an open source platform like an Estimate One, or if we're getting quote requests come through from Instagram, from our DMs, whatever that funnel traffic source is to get our quotes in, we know that we don't have to change anything with that just yet, because we could focus on improving the number of quotes we actually do win. So the reason we're tracking this pipeline data is so that we can understand where are the holes in our net, so that we can make sure that we're not just going, okay, well, I'm going to turn up leads, I'm going to turn up ad spend or ramp up our outbound activities. We have got areas that we could further refine prior to make sure that we do grab this low-hanging fruit, to make sure we do focus on what is the highest and best use of our time. Now, if you were to go then the next month and we said, yep, we got another 10 leads in, we did another 8 site visits, we sent 8 quotes, and now we've won 6, we can say that because we didn't change anything else, we only worked on our sales process, we have now won 50% more work, 25% more work from our quotes sent. So that would then say to us that, check, we have done our job there. We have used the data to identify what is the correct thing to work on. And now we may say, well, I don't think we can improve that any better, or I don't think we can improve that any more. We then may go back out to say, what would I need to do to turn my 10 leads into 20 leads? And that may be a ramping up our outbound, that may be ramping up our ad spend, or however the leads are coming into our funnel. Now, what we may see here is we could ramp up our leads and only get 10 site visits. So we could spend however it is, whether it is ad spend or whether it is manual hours. We may find that we drove more traffic, however, that could have reached either the wrong audience, or we were grabbing onto people who are not the ideal customer, or there was something to do with our messaging, something to do with our content, something to do with our copy, or something to do with the process in the marketing, in the outbound section that didn't quite resonate. So if we were to then follow that across and we did 8 and then 6, the area over here remains constant. And then we put our focus over to what are we doing in our marketing area. This is really how we identify, is our time best used or our attention best used at the moment to educate ourselves on marketing or educate ourselves on sales to improve either of those processes. So I wonder if there's any other examples that we want to run through here. I know we have pushed through to see our revenue targets that we've been running in the boardroom, and we will be able to overlay that information over to us to say, let's just add another page in here, to say that if our revenue target is 200K, so target for the month is 200K, and our average job value, let's go average job value is 20K, then we need 10 jobs. 10 jobs, 10 projects, whatever you like to call it, in order to achieve our target for the month. So if we were to look back over at our scoreboard here, we would need to work back from here and say that needs to be 10. So if we're winning 75% of the quotes we send, if we're winning 6 in 8 quotes, I hope that math is right. Yes, 25%. I have to do quick math in my head to make sure it's right for you. If we're winning 75% of the quotes we send, that means that we will need to send out, it's not going to be 20, it's going to be 15. We will need to send 15 quotes. So if we work back from here, we could round it up a little bit and say we would need to have 20 site visits. And then in order for us to turn our site visits based on, let's have a look at this period here. Let's grab a different color as well. We're looking at our normal pipeline data there. Let's say that we would need to then get approximately 25 leads in. So when you start to talk to whoever is doing your outbound, whether that is yourself, whether that is a VA, whether that is admin, whether that is your mum or your sister or your cousin, or an ads agency, we would then be able to reverse engineer this and say that we need 25 leads coming in so that we can send or do 25 site visits in order for us to be able to send 15 quotes, in order for us to be able to get 10 quotes won. Now I've just gone back on myself and that math there is not correct, but that would factor in for us to have a contingency in case we had some inefficiencies in our marketing. So I hope this gives us a good example of how we can reverse engineer from our revenue targets in order to use a pipeline and then also translate that pipeline over to a scoreboard. So if we were to then have our pipeline, we would have, this could be in a spreadsheet, this could be in Notion, this could be in a on your whiteboard. This could be as simple as that. We want to have our number of leads come in, so we've got new leads, we'd have site visits, we would have, what else have we got on there? We'd have quotes. That's right, isn't it? Quotes sent, then our quotes won. And then we may have something in here of like waiting, delay, something like that. So if you were to picture this up on your whiteboard, you would have clients' names and then draw a bar of where they are sitting, or you could actually have client's name in each of the individual spots. But what we really want to do here is make sure that we are tracking what kind of leads or what kind of potential deal flow we have, and how we can then translate that data over to see what do I need to achieve in order to get to my revenue target. That's really the purpose of this pipeline data. So I would love to see as well, if you can drop in school, how your pipeline looks. You may want to go as simple as, like we said, a spreadsheet or a whiteboard to work out first what you really do want to track. And then once you do know what you need to track and you've proved to yourself that you are tracking the right things, then you can look at something like a CRM, a Go High Level. There are heaps and heaps of different CRMs, then you'll be able to find the right one, not only that visually suits you, but also for the purpose of your pipeline and maybe some other client follow-up areas and CRM related things. You will find the one that works for you. So let's get a photo of your pipeline, a screenshot of your pipeline, wherever it's put, and let's post that up in school so I can have a look at it as well. Bye for now.